show for you this Sunday, and I'm still playing with the times of my Sunday show. Optimally, I'd like it to be at perhaps 4 o'clock in the afternoon Hawaii time where I am, because if you add 5-6 hours to that for the East Coast, that's like 9-10 o'clock. And so then that allows everyone, and then in California 6 or 7 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and that kind of allows everyone to be able to see live and join the conversation. I have some progress updates, starting with I've had some new patches made. You guys know about my wristbands here. My wristbands you can see on my website. Let me show you here. Let's see here. If we go here to Shieldheart and we go to membership, the wristbands I can ship you one out free of charge. And I consider it like a religious accessory. It helps you to remind yourself of who you are. So really what we're trying to achieve here, guys, is we're trying to achieve a sense of an aim towards a collective good. And even though it's only me right now as the quote-unquote a member and also founder, I identify as a member because ultimately I would like somebody else to be the shall we say the president of the organization in the future. I'm all about power not being over concentrated, and I'm about the message, the root of it. And is that a downside for a religion to never change? Like, that's one criticism of things like the Christian Bible, that it's a work that isn't allowed to be changed. Maybe that is a good thing because it's more absolute. It's like, okay, if you're going to be a member of this religion or spiritual group, then this is what it is, and then if you don't like it, then you can make a new one, or you can join another one, and then if nobody ends up joining this group, then fine. I already know, check this out, by all the work I've done on TikTok and YouTube, I already know that this message is out there and it's inspiring people. Let me show you some examples on TikTok here. Let's see here. One second. Okay, so on TikTok, what we're seeing here is, okay, so if you go to my TikTok page, by the way, sorry about the focus, it's auto-focusing on the halo of the light here. Maybe there's a way I can modify this so it allows us to see better what we're looking at here. Hey, we actually have at least some audience. That's nice. So yeah, that's what I'll do. I'll just take it whenever. I'll keep the light on, but what I'll do is I'll just take it off its little jack when I want to feature something from the computer. So I recently I've got lots of content out there, right? If you look, you see I have close to 60,000 people who've liked my videos, which means probably over 500k views. So that's good news. That's good stuff. And but I want to dial into this specific one, and let's hear it, and then I'll give a reaction. I think it's it's only a minute long, and the title of it is "Ending War by Protecting Women," and I got a lot of commentary on this, and we can go through that soon. But let's get into this. So how do we end war? I'm theorizing here. Let me reduce the volume on this a little. Thank you. Maybe a little higher. Yeah. Okay, here we go.
One action step. Men need to protect their women.
Let me start from the beginning.
We can end all wars with this one action step. Men need to protect their women. Historically, Christians, Muslims, and other principled men.
So the idea of principled men has to do with men who are not doing things because, they're not ruled by their sexual desires. They actually have control of their desires, and they are they only would want to commit to and love somebody and marry them and be intimate with them if that person was like had the same values as them. So they care about values,
And have protected their women, and most women can't protect themselves and should voluntarily choose to follow men who guard their mind and body purity.
So this is about how historically daughters have always stayed close to their fathers until marriage, and people like to make arguments for the exceptions, but the reality is most people are hetero, and most women, hetero women, will be married. And also this also applies to, I think, homo women, that they should, there is the more masculine homo woman, and I think that's also good, because then there can be that polarity in the relationship of the masculine force, celebrating and focusing and caretaking for the feminine. And I think that's a nice relationship dynamic. And that it can even occasionally play out where the woman's more masculine and the man's more feminine. But let's hear the rest of this. So,
which simultaneously ensures men's purity, all necessary for stable families and society. Nowadays, many men send their daughters into schools and society to be manipulated by other men.
So, in other words, men are sending their daughters into schools where their fellow classmates are trying to seduce them, and it's difficult for women because they kind of have to go with whatever's going on. And you can call it a good or a bad thing, but from what I understand, women don't really like to think about like values, and they don't really like to think of like discuss philosophy too much, and so they kind of go with whichever man is willing to provide for them or pay attention to them or have money or interest towards them, and so women are more flexible. But the problem with that, obviously, is that women confuse if a man likes them sexually for that he might marry her, and often it's the opposite. Even if he likes her sexually, if he really cared about her, he wouldn't want to pursue sex with her prior to marriage. He would want to first marry her to show how much he cares about her, and that his intentions are because she has the same values as he does, not because he just wants her body. And then I go on to say that 95% of men are good, but quote unquote, but a lot of men don't, unless they're really principled, they don't have control over this, and they just end up seducing and women. So let's see
More
here.
than 95% of men are good. Even good men routinely manipulate women. And that's why a lot of guys don't trust each other. And we need to trust each other to work together to control the 5% of bad, angry men who create wars. Now please consider shieldheart.org to protect women.
So that was a little ambiguous, that last part. But what I'm trying to say, and what not everyone got in the comments, people were saying that, well, men are fighting each other. It's not about whether they're protecting women or not. And what I'm saying here is that it's a sequence of events. It's when you start protecting women, and you start, caring about women, then it allows you to trust other men. So in your both your local environment, national and internationally, men start to trust each other and respect each other more because they know that other men are not going to seduce their women. And then the bad men in any parts of the society, such as whatever society, whether it's in the US or Muslim or anything, the 5% of bad men or angry men who are in all those cultures, the 95% of us are working together, and we can confidently manage them. And so, like this guy says, I never considered this, protecting my women. And the reality is, some of the stuff I talk about is historical, but it's not known in this day and age. And this one's interesting. This guy says protect women, like even sacrifice our lives. So what I responded to him was that this is not really about physical protection. Men and women can of course protect each other physically with guns and stuff. This is more about creating a culture that is harmonious with protecting women, and that makes it so men can trust each other more. And then this guy is giving up on world peace. So and then here, like I said, he's missing the root issue. He's thinking that it's just that it's about resource wars. When all men protect each other. And by the way, fundamentalist Christians and fundamentalist Muslims do actually protect their women, the Orthodox ones. And so they should be able to get along because they're doing the same thing. People get caught up in the whole ideology and the dogmatism of religion, but all that matters is the core practices that are practical in the real world, such as things like eating healthy, the golden rule, and protecting women. This guy says eliminate class and you eliminate war. Again, it's not, class is important. It's important to have people who different opportunities, and realize that, there are economic opportunities depending upon how responsible you want to be. That's the free market. So in other words, even if there's a rich company owner, he's only going to be able to get people to work for him if he pays a fair wage, so what else? So this one is saying to protect our women. So what do they say here? He says there's no one blanketed solution. He says war is necessary for peace to exist, but it doesn't have to be between each other. War should be thought within. All right, that's cool. That's interesting, right? To ask why we fight. is to ask why leaves fall. Why do we fight? To protect home and family. I mean, that's a good one. So yeah, there's just a lot of commentary. Here's an interesting one. This guy, I think he's trolling. He's saying we need to be more aggressive and controlling of women. And, I'm saying that, how can we, for example, how can a father effectively punish his daughter who is dressing promiscuously? Should he disown her? And do we have a response? No, we didn't get a response from him. Maybe I should unlike that one because I think it's really... I kind of liked it because I like to like as everyone's to promote commentary, but the truth is that's a very sadistic. It's there's no way to interpret that in a positive light. So this guy makes an interesting comment where he talks about that two religions based upon principle are battling because of that principle. And he thinks that having common goals or beliefs is not enough to fix the world. And the funny thing is, he says that he thinks that I might not be trying to be doing something good. So it's very interesting to see how people actually interpret what I'm saying. So yeah, if you and then here's a comment, here's a, he says I'm getting a lot of hate. And so, let's see if... this guy left an intelligent comment. He says that pregnancy is difficult. And that's... Okay, let me get into that. So, that's a great point, is that pregnancy is difficult, guys. And so, I'm not expecting, when I say stuff like, well, women aren't that philosophical, and I'm not expecting women to be like super philosophical, and I realize that women have their own difficulties that they're facing the world with, and such as birth. And he's talking about creating artificial wombs so women don't have to bear children. Maybe that makes sense. I think also the C-section, maybe that they have to cut the abdominal muscles in order to get the baby out, but at least you can manage that with pain medication. You can't. I've also heard of other spiritual, or not, of acupuncture and naturopathic to help the pregnancy, and sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't too. I've heard of naturopathic going wrong, where it accidentally induced the birth too soon. So these are things to consider. And also, guys, we need to recognize that there's a lot of distractions in life, and things like money, or maybe a woman with a pretty face, or that you guys really like each other. But at the background, we still need to ask ourselves, is the woman strong and healthy for pregnancy? And does she have a body that wide enough hips? And is she strong enough, physically, strength to be able to handle pregnancy and not get overwhelmed by it? So what else is on the conversation here? Oh, I want to share some new I have some new. Let's see here. I've got some new information that I'm. If you go to sections 1 through 6, I've got some new ideas here. Let me just highlight this one that I recently posted. It's so section 2, meet your intimate desires. This is important. Here's this section that I really like. It's called Meet a More Peaceful Sexuality. And what this is about is especially directed towards hetero men. Let me try to zoom in here. Who want to have a sense of peace in their life. And it's about reference to PPS and TTS size and this idea that bigger is better. Well, I would say that the larger PPS, it puts more sexual attention towards the men. When that's actually feminine to want that sexual attention, it's masculine to direct the sexual attention. So if women are, and I'm not saying that I think people should force themselves to align with this. I just think that it should be in the background as something that people are thinking about, like how to optimize. Like, I think relationships people should practice the roles of the masculine man and the feminine woman in order to create more polarity in the relationship. But the plan and with sexual attention more being towards the woman, and be it PPS or a woman's TTS breasts, it's it's a physiological burden because it makes you think about sexual matters more often than you may or may not want to. And then the sexual intercourse, obviously, it's kind of about the man dominating the woman, and maybe a larger PPS to more stimulate her. And the reality is the most important act is the oral sex, because women aren't always in the mood for intercourse, especially after pregnancies. Their hormones can change and their bodies are more gentle, and they need to be worshipped, in my opinion. If you're having a wife, then why wouldn't you want to worship her? And also, why would you even want to focus on her VVS? It's like a flower. Why would you want another man to be interested in, why wouldn't you want your woman to be a virgin? Do you really want your other men to have been with her? And so yeah, this is all stuff on the website. This is all information that's, besides for the time it takes to read it, this is all information that's freely available for people to really work on. And yeah, I think I'm gonna kind of wrap it up here. Even the disclaimer is fun. I think you'll get a kick out of that. But also, I made a new capture page. It's called yaywife.com, because men should be excited about the idea, and lesbian women should be excited about the idea of having a wife, and yet this culture does not put an emphasis on that, and that's why and understandably so. I mean, look at all the mistakes of the marriage failures. Well, I think they're due to a lack of preparation, so that's why I have shieldheart.org. It's the 6-step process to get ready for your future life, and then you just click on here, and here we are. So yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. Quick little stream. I've got to find a better time to go live, that way I can maximize my viewership. I definitely like to have comments and interactions for people who have genuine interest in marriage and want to actually maybe debate some of my approaches. Remember, at the end of the day, guys, this is about efficiency. It's about what's the most efficient way to get married. And actually, I want to bring something up that not everyone may be aware of, but there is a YouTube channel called I Hate Dogs, and it may seem mean-spirited, but uh, just take a listen to this here, and I'll explain more.
They surrounded you, they could have easily killed you. Y'all making yourselves a target, walking these worthless mutts. You better off walking by yourself with a gun. Dogs are probably less likely to attack you.
So this is this guy. He's basically uh, so there are. Okay, so here's the problem, guys. Is that the problem, okay, is that dogs are they're unclean, they require attention, and even as friendly as they might be, everyone knows that either if they were large enough or if they are large enough, they could easily hurt or even kill people. And it's just not fair. You know, people who are, you know, they may have these dogs, and the dogs may, but it's like brandishing a weapon, guys. It's like actively brandishing a weapon, and I'm just not. I'm not okay with people doing it in public, and I don't want any attention to be taken away from women. I want women to be the center of humanity and not dogs, not... Look at this. The dog killed a 6-year-old. You know, this is unacceptable. So I don't generally like to end on a dark note, but hopefully this left a point for you to consider, and it's just part of the process of making life about women and not about dogs, not about all these fashion accessories, not about the newest cars. I mean, look at these people are, you know, they're what it is, guys, is it's this simple. It's women are sick and tired of men who are not emotionally intelligent, so they've chosen dogs as a sufficient substitute, but it really isn't. Men need to develop themselves financially, but also emotionally, and really be able to, you know, the way a man develops himself emotionally is actually very simple. It's by meeting his basic needs, meeting his sexual desires by using. And by the way, there's a product. Let me bring it up here. It's let me bring it up. It's called. Let me show you, okay, what it is. It's called the Doc Johnson Maine, and this thing is so realistic. To be honest, guys, I would say it's 75% as realistic as a okay, here we go. I would say it's 75%, and they have different feelings. These guys have different feelings, the designs, right? But my favorite one is this one. I think it's the best designed one, but it may be different depending on obviously a men's genitals as well. These ones though, this line here is really superior, and obviously use coconut oil, because the problem with the one I like is the one by this model, the Sophie D model. I'm not seeing it right here, but you get the idea. So maybe that's ending on a positive note. It's having sex with yourself, gentlemen, and it allows you to develop emotional intelligence. So your whole life is not about trying to fight your desires or seduce women, but you transcend that because you're happy because you have, you already, it's like you're already having sex. So then what else do you want from a woman? You just want to give her oral pleasure and celebrate her VVS and her vagina, and then we actually have a viewer, please tell me what you think, having sex with yourself. The viewer left. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Remember that it's not hard to really discover who we are and prepare for our future spouse, as long as you use shieldhard.com. You've .org. You're doing great. So aloha from Hawaii. I know that your life may not be as comfortable as mine, but I'm here to tell you that I'm here for you. I'm present. In fact, membership, for now, since I have time, I'm happy to talk to people for free. Member support. This is another new thing I've added. Okay, it's what it is part of membership benefits is having somebody you can contact. And in the future, I want to have a call center, which will not only help people discuss their problems, but there will be people who mimic conversations that you would have, like with your future spouse. And so, for instance, if you're a man, hetero man, then the operator would be a woman, and she would talk to you, asking you how you're doing, preparing for her, and tell her that she cares about you, and that, thank you for staying focused on her and no one else. So kind of this virtual and also real person. But, we need to make it real, guys. And this is stuff that, your people who you consider guardians. Forget the terms mother and father. It's not useful because it's vague. If you really do want to label someone, label them your guardian. And try to talk to them on a first name basis. Because labeling people father and mother, it just makes you play the role of son and daughter, which is more submissive. And you want to play the role of equal, like as if you hired them to be your parent, as if you hired them to be your guardian. And obviously the trade-off is that you want to do it partial, obviously it's the biological similarity and whatever, but they chose to bring you into the world. They have a moral obligation to be your guardian, at least until a certain age. And then I think for women it should be even longer, because I think women should be protected until they're connected with their husband. That's why the daughter has her father's last name. That's why she should have her husband's last name. And women can just the same work and do stuff in society, and I'm talking about most people. I know there are exceptions. I'm talking about most people, though, guys. Because I think they should. Yeah, you get the idea. They should want to play the role. It takes courage to play a feminine role of a feminine woman, and you can't even do it unless you have a father figure looking out for you. This is the worst advice to all these red pill men's content. And by the way, if you've never seen these Fresh and Fit guys on YouTube, I do really want you to end it. There's the show. We're live, guys. We are live. So, Fresh and Fit Zerka. This guy Zerka is quite a character, and if you see him,
and we're live. What's up, guys? Welcome to Fresh and Podcast After.
it's just fun and controversial dialogue. But the point is they talk about women should be more feminine, but you cannot be feminine if you're alone. You need to be protected by a man and a guardian. I mean, yeah, in order to be feminine, and women should be retaining their purity and getting ready for their loving, husband. If they believe that husband is out there, they should be focusing on preparing for them and not give up on that. And even if they maybe are too old or whatever it is and they can't see it happening for themselves, help other people to achieve this goal. Become a part of shieldheart.org and just join the conversation. Take care, guys.